Good day everyone, my name is Daryl Shelby Sorban and we are going to discuss the integumentary system. First, let's define what is integumentary system. Integumentary system is the body's outer covering, protecting it from the external damage and regulating various functions like temperature and sensation, acting as a physical barrier and protecting it against external factors and regulating body temperature and sensation. The first part of integumentary system is we have the skin. When we say the skin is the body's largest organ made of water, protein, fats, and minerals. Your skin protects your body from germs and regulates the body temperature. Nerves in the skin helps you feel sensation like cold and hot. We have the three layers of skin. We have the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. We have the first layer. We have the epidermis. Is the outmost layer of the skin, acting as a protective barrier against the environment and containing cells that produce melanin for skin color, and it is composed of several layers. When we say epidermis po, ito po yung pinakalabas na patong and yun po yung pinakaibabaw na bahagi ng balat natin na nagsisilbing pananggalang po sa mga tubig, mikrobyo at sa iba pong panlabas na mga madudumi na virus. The next one is we have the dermis. It is the middle layer of skin with tough elastic layer of connective tissue beneath the epidermis. So when we say dermis po, yung dermis ito po yung makapal na patong na balat na naglalaman po ng mga connective tissues natin tulad ng ugat, ng dugo, ng mga nervous fossils, mga buhok at yun po, doon din po nakapaloob ang ating mga pawis. Mahalaga po ito sa pagsuporta sa epidermis sa pag-regulate ng temperature sa ating katawan at nagbibigay pandama or pakiramdam po tulad ng init at ng sakit. The last one po is we have the hypodermis. It is the deepest layer of skin located beneath the dermis and is composed of loose connective tissues and adipose or fat tissues serving as a fat storage site. Laban sa lamig at nagbibigay din po siya ng proteksyon laban sa matinding puwersa o pagkabangga. Ito rin po ang nagkakabit ng balat sa mga kalamnan at buto.
Hair is a component of the integumentary system and extends downward into the dermal layer, where it sits in the hair follicle. Humans have approximately 5 million hair follicles, which offer protection from cold and UV radiation, produce sebum, and can have a significant psychological impact when growth or structure is imbalanced. Hair comprises living and non-living components above and below the epidermis level. Above the epidermis, the hair shaft is a thin, flexible cylinder of non-living, keratinized epithelial cells. Below the epidermis, it is part of living hair follicle that enlarges at the base and forms the hair bulb. There's a different types of hair. The first one is the hair shaft. The hair shaft comprises a cortex surrounding cuticle cells and sometimes a central medulla found in thicker hair. The bulk of this hair fiber belongs to the cortical layer, which play a vital role in determining the physical and mechanical properties of the hair, such as strength, textures, and color. The shaft is composed predominant of microfibrils, which are rods of microfibrils meshed together in matrix. The second one is sebaceous gland. The sebaceous gland contributes the vast majority of skin surface lipids via its main product, sebum, which helps seals in moistures and prevents skin desiccation. Because sebaceous glands empty into the hair canal, sebum mostly escapes onto the skin surface via a wicking action involving the hair shaft. The third one is pollicle. The pollicle is the primary structures from which hair can grow. The histological arrangement of the pollicles is divided into outer and inner root sheaths. 4. The outer sheath. The outer sheath has been recognized as a ready supply of multiponent stem cells that differentiate into several cell types, including melanocytes and keratinocytes. More especially, these stem cells are thought to reside in a distinct bulge area located between the insertion of the erector pili muscle and the ductile opening of the sebaceous gland. 5. The inner root sheath. The inner root sheath consists of the henal layer, the Huxley layer, and the previously mentioned cuticle layer, which also helps affix the growing hair shaft to the polycell. A tax bolstered by the production of keratins and trichohyalin by the IRS cells. The cuticle comprises flat overlapping cells covering the hair shaft from the root until it exits from the epidermis. The cuticle is of considerable cosmetic importance as it gives the hair an untangled appearance. And 6. The hair matrix. The hair matrix is a group of cells that grow and divide to produce the hair shaft and internal root sheath. It's located at the base of the hair polycell in the hair bulb. 7. Hair dermal papilla. Hair dermal papilla cells are specialized mesenchymal cells that exist in the dermal papilla located at the bottom of hair polycells. These cells play a pivotal role in hair formation, growth, and cycling. Hair polycell formation is usually directed by aggregation of dermal mesenchymal cells, the region of dermal papilla cells in the embryonic skin. 8. The hair bulb is the region of the polycell that actively produces hair. The bulb extends into the dermal layer of the skin and surrounds the dermal papilla, an important structure derived from mesenchyme made of rich stroma, associated nerve fibers, and loop of the capillary that supplies nutrients. The hair bulb itself is divided into two regions by the overline. Below this line, cells still undergo differentiation. The immature cells below the overline comprise the germination center of matrix of the polycell, where all cells are mitotically active and move upward, whether enlarge, elongate vertically, and integrate into the hair shaft. Hair that is darker, thicker, and more visible to the human eye is called terminal hair. Areas of the body that appear to be hairless but have shorter, finer hairs that lack the medulla layer are called bilious hair. Neonates can be born with lanugo hair. Fine hairs shed in utero or within the first week of life. Club hair is fully keratinized hair that is fully formed in the telogen stage of the hair cycle. The only parts of the external surface of the body that are truly hairless are the palms and soles of the hands and feet, lips, labia minora, and glans penis. Like skin, hair forms by rapid division and differentiation of stem cells, forming keratinocytes that migrate, flatten, and die, forming keratinized cells. The final hair product exposed on the skin surface will be composed entirely of keratin. The growth of hair polycell is cyclical. Stages of rapid growth and elongation of the hair shaft alternate with periods of quiescence and regression driven by apoptotic signals. This cycle can be divided into three phases: anagen or growth, catagen or transition, and telogen or rest. Anagen growth is the active phase in which hair polycells take on its onion-like shape and work to produce the hair fiber. The anagen phase can be furthered broken down into proanagen and metaanagen phases. The catagen phase begins with the end of the anagen phase and is characterized by a transition into quiescence. During this phase, which can last a few weeks, the hair follicle undergoes apoptosis-driven regression and loses about 1/6 of its standard diameter. The last one is telogen. Telogen or resting phase of the hair cycle, in which the hair follicle is dormant. A growth at the hair shaft does not occur. About 10 to 15% of all hairs on the body are in this resting phase at any given time and can remain in this state for a variable amount of time, depending on the location of the hair, from a few weeks for eyelashes to nearly 1 year for scalp hair. The exact mechanism that controls passage from one phase into the next is not fully known.
Nails are hard keratin-based structures found at the tips of human fingers and toes. They serve several important biological and functional roles, contributing to both protection and precision in daily activities. Structure of nails. Nails are composed of keratin, a strong protein also found in hair and skin. The key part of the nail include nail plate, the visible hard part of the nail; nail bed, the skin beneath the nail plate that provides nutrients; cuticle, a thin layer of skin at the base of the nail protecting it from infection; lunula, the half-moon-shaped area at the base of the nail, part of the growing structure; matrix, the hidden part under the skin responsible for nail growth. Functions of nails. Number 1. Protection. Nails protect the sensitive tips of the fingers and toes from injury and external damage. They act as a barrier against bacteria, viruses, and environmental hazards. Number 2. Support and grip. They provide a stable surface, making it easier to pick up small objects. They enhance precision in activities like writing, buttoning clothes, or using tools. Number 3. Enhancing touch sensitivity. Nails support the fingertips, which are rich in nerve endings, improving the sense of touch and pressure. These help in the fine motor tasks like typing and playing musical instrument. Number 4. Defense mechanism. In certain situations, nails can be used for self-defense or scratching irritants of the skin. Number 5. Health indicator. The appearance of nails can reflect overall health conditions. Pale or brittle. Conclusion. Nails play a crucial role in everyday functions, from protection to precision. Taking care of them through proper hygiene, nutrition, and regular maintenance helps keep them strong and healthy.
The glands in the integumentary system are essential for maintaining skin health, regulating body temperature, and protecting the body from infections. They are mainly classified into sebaceous glands and sweat glands, each with specific functions. First up we have is sebaceous glands or oil glands, found all over the body except on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. Secrete sebum, an oily substance that keeps the skin and hair moisturized, acts as a barrier against bacteria and fungi, prevents excessive water loss from the skin. Sebaceous glands are the most active during puberty, which is why acne can occur due to excess oil production. Number 2. Sweat glands or sudoriferous glands. Sweat glands help regulate body temperature and eliminate waste. There are two types. A. Eccrine sweat glands, found throughout the body, especially on the forehead, palms, and soles. Produce clear watery sweat that helps cool the body through evaporation, activated by heat, physical activity, or stress. Next up is apocrine sweat glands, found mainly in the armpits, groins, and around the nipples. Produce a thicker milky secretion that contains proteins and lipids. becomes active during puberty, and is linked to body odor as bacteria break down the sweat.
What are sebaceous glands? Sebaceous glands are an organ in your skin that make and secrete sebum. Sebum is a substance that provides a protective coating for your skin to help it retain moisture. Most of your sebaceous glands connect to your hair follicles. What are the types of sebaceous glands? There are two types of sebaceous glands. Both types have different locations on your body. First, sebaceous glands attached to hair follicles. These are the most common type and found throughout most of the skin. They secrete sebum or an oily substance into the hair follicle, which then travels to the surface of the skin. The sebum helps lubricate the hair and skin, preventing them from drying out. Next, sebaceous glands not attached to hair follicles, also known as sebaceous glands of the skin, or independent sebaceous glands. These glands are not connected to hair follicles and are found in areas like the lips, external genitalia, and some part of the face. They secrete sebum directly onto the surface of the skin. These types of sebaceous glands are less common than the follicular type. The most majority of your sebaceous glands have openings attached to your hair follicles. Some sebaceous glands work with your sweat glands and open at the surface of your skin instead of at your hair follicles. Both types perform the same function, which is to create and release sebum. What is the function of sebaceous glands? Sebaceous glands are responsible for producing and secreting sebum. Sebum is an oily substance made up of fat, molecules, or lipids that includes: first, cholesterol, a fat used to make hormones, vitamin D, and digestive substances. Second, fatty acids, building blocks of fats essentials for energy and cell function. Third, glycerides, fats made from glycerol and fatty acids, mainly triglycerides. Fourth, squalene, a compound in skin oil used to make cholesterol and other sterols. Last, wax, solid lipids made of fatty acids and alcohols used for protection in nature and in products. Why is sebum important for my body? Sebum is a natural lubrication that protects your skin from: first, things that rub against your skin that can cause damage or friction. Second, moisture loss or brittle hair. Third, infections caused by bacteria or fungi. And last, sebum also contributes to your body odor. Where are sebaceous glands located on my body? Sebaceous glands develop on or near your hair follicles in the second layer of your skin or dermis. You have thousands of sebaceous glands all over your body. The only place where you don't have sebaceous glands are on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. You have the most sebaceous glands on your face and scalp. Sebaceous glands that aren't attached to your hair follicles are common on your penis, labia, lips, or inside of your nose.
Sensory receptors. Sensory receptors are specialized nerve ending that detects changes in the environment, stimuli, and convert them into electrical signals, which are sent to the brain or spinal cord for interpretation. These receptors help us perceive sensations such as touch, temperature, pain, light, sound, and chemicals. We have 5 major types of sensory receptors, classified based on the type of stimulus they detect. First, we have mechanoreceptors, detect mechanical stimuli. These receptors respond to mechanical forces such as pressure, vibration, touch, stretch, and movement. For example and function. Meissner's corpuscles detect light, touch, and texture. It can pound in fingertips and lips. Next, Pacinian corpuscles detect deep pressure and vibration. Mersal disc sends sustained touch and pressure. Herfini endings detect skin stretch and help in grip control. And hair follicle receptors sense light touch when hair moves. The second type of receptors called thermoreceptors. It detects temperature changes. These receptors respond to changes in temperature and help regulate body heat. Example and function. Cold receptors, active when the skin temperature drops below 37 Celsius or 98.6 Fahrenheit. Warm receptors activate when the skin temperature rises above 37 Celsius but below 45 Celsius.